me start with the new automated message changes that'll be landing.
Yeah.
So one of the things that with CheckCherry's automated messages, they're pretty flexible, but I think it's not uncommon that people have kind of challenges figuring out how to use them, how to create messages, what's going out, things like that. So we kind of took a stab at redesigning the interface for that. Hopefully, it's not too different for people that are kind of familiar with it. But basically, the goal is to kind of make things organized a little bit more logically, make it a little bit easier to find things that you're looking for. And I guess to step back a little bit, so in Check Cherry, there's a number of different ways that messages might go out. If you have a proposal, you might, put that proposal together and send it manually. You might send out an email and we're going to pull in one of your templates to do that. You can edit these templates. But with automated messages, those are messages that are going to go out without you needing to do anything necessarily. So that can be used for things around your booking. It can be staff reminders, customer confirmation emails, prompting them to choose templates, things like that. And it can also be used around your sales process. So things like following up with leads, following up with your proposals, and things like that. And I think we might, depending on time, touch base on some different types of emails, different things you might want to send a little bit later. But for now, let's go to manage automated messages. And this is not live on the website yet. So if you go there now within your own account, you're going to see the old version. But hopefully within the next day or so, we should be able to roll this out. And kind of the first thing you'll notice is that all of the different what we call triggers, anchors, time, basically like when the emails go out, basically. We've kind of grouped these together in a way that I think is a little bit more logical. So when a booking comes in, you might have several emails that go out based on that booked date. So if somebody books you today for a spring wedding, you can set up emails that go out based on that booked date. And so what we're doing now is, everything within this trigger, we're going to organize chronologically by when it goes out. So sends immediately. These are things that are going to go out immediately when somebody books you. They once they make that booking, we've got it set up so that the business owner gets a notification, so that you know that somebody booked you. And then we've got this customer confirmation email as well. And now you can click view details to kind of see that email in line rather than needing to go over to another page. And so you can kind of take a look and see what types of information are being included in your emails more easily. If I kind of go down the list here, I've got this follow up 5 minutes after asking the customer to choose a design template. And, I can take a look at that, see what's there. I can see the condition here. I've got a special condition here that a design template has an unselected template. So this is only going to go out if they haven't yet chosen a template. We can continue here 3 days after I've got something going to my wedding customers, helping them plan. And again, if I look at these conditions, this is only going out to certain wedding packages in my system. And then you might have, a whole series of additional reminders, things like that. I've set up a few different template reminders, 1 week after, 2 weeks after, and you can create as many or as, few of these as you want. But the good thing is with conditions, that's only going to go out if it applies. So if somebody actually picks their design template, great, they won't get any more of these. These will only apply if they haven't yet. Similarly, if I scroll down here, I've got the scheduled date emails or the scheduled date trigger, and that's going to be the date that the event is happening. So if the event is scheduled for uh, New Year's Eve, then this message is going to go out 2 months before New Year's Eve. And again, it's all going to be chronological now. So you can say, okay, this one goes out 2 months before, this one goes out 1 month before, 1 week before, 2 days before, 2 days after, and things like that. And again, this can be things like most commonly reminders to customers to do things. If you need them to pick a template, fill out a questionnaire, pick a backdrop, all that type of stuff, you can automate that so that they get reminders there. But it can also be things like staff reminders, hey, just a reminder, you've got an upcoming booking in 2 days, or things like that. And then we've got 2 days after, we've got a customer review request. And so that's going to be just kind of a reminder to them that, hey, we hope you had a good time. Come here to fill out to leave us a review. And probably the other most common one is things based on the payment due date. So, 2 weeks before the payment due date, you might want to remind them, 1 week before, a day after. And you can even set a reminder to an admin saying, hey, 3 days after, I want to notify the business contact, in this case, you, that something's up. And if I continue scrolling down, I can see all the different triggers that CheckCherry supports. So, things like when a staff is assigned to a booking, you might want to send out notifications. If a staff is removed from booking, staff's request booking, all that type of stuff. And basically, you can kind of just go through. And what we try to do is to kind of put what we think is the most, the most important up top. So if I'm just looking at these bookings, these are kind of the most commonly used. But if you keep scrolling down, you can see everything else as well, including things that you don't have any automations around. So in this account, I don't have anything set up when a booking is canceled. And so if you want to add something, you can.
So I really like this part of the new UI because it kind of like maybe people didn't know you could do something with CheckCherry. And
Exactly.
so that's really cool. I like that.
And then similar with proposals, you can kind of see most common use cases, I would say, with proposals are just kind of follow-ups, reminding them, hey, just a reminder, you haven't signed yet. And the most common triggers there are, if you want to send, 2 days after a proposal, 4 days after a proposal, things like that. You can also do proposal viewed. So maybe you want to send an email, an hour after, or even a few minutes after, maybe if somebody views something if they haven't signed it. And then we've got some other uh, things available down.
Unused, yeah.
Yeah. And then similar for leads, for your leads that come in, you can set follow-ups, you can target them based on wedding, things like that. And then up in the top right here, we've got a few filters. So if I'm just looking for, a confirmation or, a review or something like that, just use a search, makes it real easy to find things. You can also search by package now. And so if I use the package search, that's only going to show me messages that apply to a certain package. So
Mhm.
if I've got a wedding versus something else, maybe I have different messages coming in, or set up for that. And
So
then
just
email SMS.
real quick, we've had
Yep.
people ask, hey, they want to see kind of like what's the sequence, what's the flow, what's the workflow. And that's not really something that CheckCherry doesn't really have this concept of like build all these email sequences and you attach it to a package. Um, so it's a complicated thing, because there's so many different triggers and all that stuff. And so this is the next iteration, I suppose, and kind of giving somebody visibility as to what is happening at a package level if somebody books. So you can kind of just scroll through. It looks good though. Yeah.
Exactly. And then kind of the next thing that comes up is, people want to create new automations. I have a process and I want to automate it. So one another change we made here is to centralize all of the templates we have in one place. And we might go through and add new templates, kind of reorganize things from time to time. But basically, if you click this browse templates, you can see everything in one place. And so again, if you're looking for a review reminder, just search for that and see what comes up, or feel free to look through them. And so we think that'll make it easier. That way you don't need to think about what trigger this is based on. Is it schedule date or booking created or payment, things
Mhm.
like that. We've got kind of some easy way to see everything in one place. Um, and so the next thing I kind of want to mention is, we've always supported what we call tags on these messages. It doesn't look like I have any set up, but basically you can set different tags on the messages. Those are going to show up on the left now as well. So if you go through and tag all your wedding messages with wedding, then you'll be able to see those on the left here and filter more easily as well.
We've got a comment here.
Yep.
Gerald says, love this. Helps organize better.
Awesome.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, this kind of gets us more close to, we never
Yeah.
do folders because it's common, you might want to have something in multiple, you know, places. So this way we can kind of do folders, but you can assign it to multiple places if you need to.
Hmm.
Next, let's take a look at once I actually go to, I can still preview it. This hasn't changed. You can kind of get some live previews with different data in your system. But what is new is the edit view. We've kind of revised that a little bit as well. Let me go to one that's an email rather. Um, and so we kind of consolidated this view a little bit to hopefully be a little little less unwieldy. Again, most of the same stuff is here, but one of the changes we made is we had the package selector over on the right here. We moved this over into the conditions now. And the reason being that, ultimately it's a condition like anything else. So if I want to come in and limit something to just DJ packages or just photo booth packages, I can still do that. And I can also add other conditions as well. And so if I want to say, this is only for customers that have unselected templates, I can come and do that as well. One thing that is new as well is I can also select multiple conditions. So if I want to come in and say, several conditions, it looks a
Oh,
little
look at the UI.
yeah. Make that a little more readable, but you can come in and select multiple conditions too. I think where that
That's
probably
funny.
is most useful is with our when you're dealing with leads. We find it real common that, hey, I've got, you know, I want to send, one message to my wedding people, and then I want to send another message to all my other, everything that's not a wedding. It was kind of awkward to do that before. You would have to create like 5 different templates for that. So now you can come in, you can say, okay, I'm using this event type condition, and I'm checking all of the things that I want there.
Kind of just like a common point of confusion that would repeat itself. And it's like, oh, we don't have an elegant solution for that. Totally get it. And this should be
And
better.
sure, this is going to let us kind of add some new conditions as well. So, things like if you want to send out an email based on specific questionnaires, I think that's kind of a no-brainer to add, and just some things like that. Where right now, the way we used to have it, all of the conditions were in a drop down, and so it just got really unwieldy if we wanted to add a million things. But this is pretty. This should kind of let us do some things we couldn't do before. So, um, and the other thing I want to kind of call attention to, so recipients pretty much works the same. Most of the time you're going to choose either client account to go to your client or business account, business contact if you want it to go to you. You can still control where any replies are sent to. And then over on the right here, we kind of rename or change this token thing a little bit. We've always had the token, different tokens you can add to your message. We added a quick search here. So if I search for customer or client or things like that, you'll see anything that comes up there. And we've also made it so we can have some descriptions and provide a little bit more information about what these different tokens are. So again, this is something we'll probably be kind of building out. If something's confusing, let us know. We'll update descriptions, flesh them out a little bit. But hopefully that makes it a little bit easier to find what you're looking for. And now you can just click the copy icon as well if you want to just add something
You got a
in line.
comment from Kayla. She said, love the search feature for tokens. Yeah, and the copy. Yeah, that search feature is long overdue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it just, yeah. So
yeah. And then we might do some things like, sort by most popular, things like that as well. So kind of now it kind of solves at least a part of the problem of, before when we would add tokens, this list just got longer and longer. It was kind of getting unwieldy. So, and then here's where you can set those tags now. So if you have a tag that you want to add, you just type it in and hit enter, or, even multi-word tags. Things like that. You can add as many tags as you want to a message. And that doesn't do anything, it doesn't change the functionality of your message, but it does make it easier to find, now you're going to see
it's a
this.
grouping, yeah.
And then one other, it's not a new change, we've supported a little while, but it is something I want to call attention to. So you can add attachments to your message templates as well now. So this, we didn't always support that, but you can use, pick from your media library, upload something, and those will automatically be included on outgoing messages as well. And so those are kind of the main things under automated messages. You'll kind of find, under custom templates. So templates are more for things you want to manually send. If you've got like FAQs or just, certain questions that come up a lot, or you have a certain message that you send out, custom templates let you set up things like that. And again, we've got some templates you can browse from, you can create from scratch, things like that. And then system templates is kind of similar as well. So with system templates, you can't add or remove these. These are tied to built-in functionality with CheckCherry. For instance, the staff invitation, we need some way to send out a message when you assign staff. So we don't have a way to like add or remove these, but you can come in and edit these templates and make changes and things like that as well. So it's all kind of similar, but slightly different depending on what the use of the templates and messages are. And as before, whenever you go into one of your bookings, you can continue to use the quicksend to trigger any of them, manually. If you do have for whatever reason, you've got a review request, you want to send it out manually, you can use that quicksend to do that. Or like before, you can use the new message tab as well and manually write messages, choose from your templates, things like that as well. So all that's, kind of the same as before, but it's helpful to be able to send messages manually if you need to as well.
So one thing that's interesting from our side with the UI changes like this is we don't always know, how much of an improvement is going to be because it makes sense to us, it looks better to us, but until we put it out there and get feedback from people, it's always interesting. And of course, initially there's always feedback that it's different, so that's kind of harder to use. But it looks good, Matt. I think this is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, we'll
Uh,
see. So and definitely, all a work in progress, but hopefully this makes it a little bit easier. And, automated messages are a huge part of
mhm.
CheckCherry. So definitely something we're going to kind of continue to push the ball forward on too.
Love it. So, if there's any questions, feel free to, Gerald, if you want to, Gerald says, looks great. Is there a way to find out a lead status change date to trigger things like that?
I'll kind of give you a background on it. Like I have like wedding
Yeah.
leads. I moved a bunch of things into one different lead capture thing, and it shows the creation, like when the actual lead was created. But I'm not. I can't seem to find it when the lead status changed and how long it's
Mm.
been in that status for.
Uh, Yeah, so you're referring to, so like when you go into a lead, you can, set different statuses, hot, cold, things like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I don't think we do show that. It makes sense. I mean, maybe we could add that below on the tools or something. Because yeah, I could see that being useful information, but no, I don't think we currently do. But as I'm sure but if for anybody else you can tie automations to that as well. That is one of the triggers we support. So if you want to, send an email out when you do change the status, I guess we call it lead type changed, but that can be useful for certain things. But
Where I
yeah,
had it is
makes
I
sense.
had a bunch of I had two different wedding shows that all basically logged in at different times. I pushed them all into one category because I kind of
Mhm.
half-ass responded to the first show. It was small. But once I moved everybody in, um, I wanted to be able to time it off as far as for my automated message, and I couldn't really time it off the how long it had been in there because I didn't know how long some of the people had been there.
Mhm.
Like when I moved them into that group,
Yeah.
they just were kind of in that group. So okay, just want to figure I'd ask.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, I could see. Yeah, that's something we could add pretty easily, I think. So yeah.
And then Rick says signatures would be a nice feature. And so, Rick, we have that. We can kind of show you. It's a little different, probably it works differently than you would expect, I would say. So,
So we didn't always support signatures, and we don't like modifying people's existing templates. So when we did come out, I don't know how old your account is, but if your account predates it, basically what it comes down to, I keep looking at an SMS here. Let me look at an email. Let me edit this one. Um, Basically we've got this signature token, brand signature. Um, and if you don't, if it's not already in your account or in your templates, you can just include it at the bottom there. And what that'll do is that'll automatically pull from your account signature, which is under
Under the
manage,
brand.
business settings, and then
Yeah.
edit brand. And I think it's toward the bottom there. So you can kind of put in, whatever you want to put for a signature, you can put that in there. And then that'll show up in this brand signature token. But if
Yeah,
you have an older account, you'll have to update those templates. We thought about, just adding them to the end, but if people already have, things they've manually
Some people put signatures already in there, yeah.
you didn't want to conflict.
gotcha. Yeah, I think I did see that. But I wasn't curious on whether or not you could actually somehow customize based on the user that's sending the message.
We don't now. Not currently. Generally, it's not coming from, it's coming from the business owner, but yeah, there's probably room for us to add that.
Yeah, Rick, what are some examples? I'm curious in terms of like, do you have like a staff member sending, pick out your template or?
Yeah, I mean, just for general interactions, because there's two of us basically that are logging in with two different logins, and um, we start a communication with somebody, and I want to have my name on it.
So more
So
for
that
like manual messages, basically.
right.
Right. Yeah. No, it makes sense. Yeah, I could see us adding something
Maybe there's even a separate signature. I mean, that's a little more straightforward even.
Yeah, it'd probably be a separate signature.
It's interesting. Good feedback. Thanks, Rick.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you want to cover next? Or any other comments or questions? Feel free to raise your hand or chat. So we'll see how the new UI goes. I mean, like I say, Matt says a day or two, it should be there. So we're interested to hear feedback and, confusion or whatever, and see what the next steps. But it's an important feature of CheckCherry, and it's something that hasn't changed in a long time. It kind of just, one of the things that happens when we're building the service is things just get additive, right? Like we add this, we add that, we add this, and then sometimes it's really nice to go back and kind of rethink how the UI looks. I think I saw Theo raise his hand, but maybe put it down.
Yeah, so I do have a question for
Yeah.
you. So when I'm at events and everything like that, the booth is gathering either an email address or a phone number. Is there a bulk way to add that into CheckCherry so that I can start like following up with people automatically, or do I need like a separate CRM?
So when you're at an event, you're collecting email and phones. Is that what you're saying? Or like
Yeah,
at a wedding,
like digital
wedding
booth.
show?
Well, no, not even at a wedding show, but sorry, this is my daughter. But like
You're
even
good.
at like just,
Like I take a
yeah, a
picture in the
wedding show.
booth.
Yeah.
No, and I don't know. I mean, you're going to run into deliverability issues. I think if you're emailing everybody sales stuff, would be my first thought.
Yeah,
Right?
so
Because
what
they're
we
not
do
really.
have, yeah, what we do have are like contact forms where, you can set up a contact form, somebody can fill it out, things like that. It's kind of intended more for like, on a website, but you can use that for in-person stuff too.
And Thea, one of the challenges that we have is basically email deliverability, and that means like basically getting emails into the inbox. And we've made great strides and always had great deliverability, but we've even improved it over the past year and a half or so on. But yeah, and Mitch is commenting, but basically those people aren't expecting to get a sales email from you, so to speak. So you're going to be sending a bunch of people who aren't expecting, they maybe not remember you, that type of thing. A lot of spam reports. It's low quality, basically low quality leads. Probably what I would do is like have a QR code that goes to your booking engine. You can do that with CheckCherry. So if somebody's interested, they can scan it and see pricing, or have a QR code go to a lead form to get a discount, or something if they're interested. And that way it's a much more qualified lead, you know that they're interested, as opposed to going up. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
a
because
couple
I
of,
would.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, 'cause, like, even at like a wedding show, the little disclosure will say that basically they're opting in by taking the picture to send.
Yeah.
So but I
Yeah,
get
and,
what
and
you're
that's
saying.
what I mean. I guess yeah. Mitch is kind of saying it, it's illegal, and I don't. There might be ways around, and I don't know. I mean, but from our standpoint, we want to manage. We want your emails to get delivered, and if you're doing that on every event, sending a bunch of junk emails, it's basically what they are. You know, what I mean, they're not high quality leads. It's going to damage your deliverability for your account, and then you'll be on chat saying, "Hey, why doesn't my payment email get delivered?" And it's like, well, yeah, because 90% of the email people are marking spam or they're not responding. They're just low quality.
Okay,
Um,
I didn't
yeah.
realize that. So
Yeah,
thank you.
that's what'll happen basically. So I would find a way to kind of have an incentive for them and then collect things up. That being said, there's no way to bulk upload leads. And I don't think it's something we'll add specifically for these reasons. People get leads from places that are, slow quality, I guess. And I think it's not going to service them well. But DJ Angel says you can be able to export out from your software of choice. Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't expect a great response rate from that tactic personally. Like I wouldn't run with that. I would definitely have an offer, book us, save 10%, whatever it is, get a free add-on. I don't even know, and have them fill out just even a name and email on a simple form. You know what I mean? Submit. And then you
Yeah, it
can
just
send
gives you a
them.
chance to kind of get that consent and make sure
Yeah.
they're opting in.
And you'll get fewer leads, but they'll be higher quality and you can spend more time with them because that's somebody that's shown some intent. Or on business cards, for example, as well. So consider something like that. That's what I would do. Any other questions? So I guess let's move on. What do you think, Mailchimp or?
Mailchimp, I think that's kind of a good topic, a tie-in, because Mailchimp is another, and we're open to supporting some other things like that too. But something like Mailchimp is a good way to send what I would call email blasts or bulk email, or exactly what Theo's talking about, where they're a little more optimized for just sending it to 1,000 emails you have. You still are supposed to get consent, with any platform. But the good thing about using something like a Mailchimp for your bulk email like that is that's not gonna generally affect your deliverability the same way. You'll generally still be able to send out emails from CheckCherry and from your, unless you're really really abusing it and they start to to see your name as flagging across different domains. But in general, it won't impact your deliverability to send out email through a bulk mail service. And you're going to have lower deliverability when you use something like Mailchimp. But the upside is that that's not impacting your personal account. It's not impacting your check.
Payment reminders? No.
Yeah, right. And because it is it's a problem if obviously you want your lead messages to go through and stuff, but it's a much bigger problem when that proposal doesn't get through, or that payment reminder, or that design template that you need them to sign off on.
And
Um,
MailChimp's long been requested. I mean, it's long been people have constantly asked for MailChimp integration. And so it's
And so
great that
we've
we
always
finally offer it.
supported, yeah, we've always supported under sales reporting. You can always just download your client list real easy here. Just click download. That'll give you a spreadsheet. So if you use something besides MailChimp, you can continue to download that and upload into about anything. But with the MailChimp integration, you're going to find that under Manage Business Settings, Integrations. And I've already got it enabled, but it'll be down kind of in the right of your account. And what you'll see when you enable that, it's going to have you log into your Mailchimp account, and it's going to ask you what list you want your contacts to be synced to or added to. And then it's going to ask you what date should we start seeking contacts from. And what that's referring to is like the when the contact was created. So as an example, if I just want to add everybody that's come into my system since, something like January 1st, I can put that. Or if you want to add everybody, you can leave it blank as well. So we have a lot of test data in this account, so I'm not going to do that. But basically, you can kind of put whatever start date you want, hit save, and we'll start syncing those over to Mailchimp. We've also got some debugging stuff in here if you kind of, need to see a little bit like what's being synced, all that type of stuff. If you go into the settings, we've got this synced record section, and that'll show you the actual data that's being added to Mailchimp. That'll include tags, what the information was and so forth. So currently what we sync over is name, email, brand, if you have multiple brands, lead, whether it's a lead, a proposal, or a booking. And then we'll even sync over, sometimes staff accounts get, they'll get synced over with the staff label as well. So based on that, you can kind of see, any of your accounts. You'll be able to see what the status is on.
Oh, I got a couple of comments
Yeah.
here. So Damien says, I like MailerLite also if you're looking for others to integrate, but I can work with Mailchimp. And it looks like MailerLite, I haven't heard of them. And I guess we're not evaluating these services often, but they do a lot of the same stuff, website builder, and what's interesting is I think a lot of these features complement CheckJerry well. It's stuff we don't offer. So thanks for the heads up on that. And then Gerald says, can this be separated by brand? So not every contact is going into the same Mailchimp, same list in Mailchimp.
It is going to go into the same one. We only support one Mailchimp account. That said, you can tag. We will sync over the brand name, so you can filter.
Yeah, you can segment an audience or something like that based on the brand tag.
And we thought about that. It just becomes, since you can pretty easily change brands on bookings and leads and stuff like that, it just kind of turned into a mess with how that would actually work in practice. So
Well, I wouldn't really want like different MailChimp account. It's just the ability to actually say this brand go to this list, this brand go to this list.
Gotcha. Well, what you should
because if everything I got a DJ company that does weddings, I got a corporate photo booth, having all the contacts all dropped into one is not.
So again, they'll have tags, so you can create a segment basically and hit them up different. Yeah, so I think it'll work.
Yeah, the segments should work. They're pretty good for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you can even set up automations in Mailchimp too. But
yeah, they have
use
automations.
that segment. I think that should let you do. And if not, let us know. We can, maybe there are things we can do. But I think that I think those tags will work pretty well. And we're going to update those tags too as things change. So that's the other part of it. Obviously it's real common. Somebody comes in as a lead. You eventually convert it to a proposal and send that to them. They accept that proposal, become a booking. We're going to update those tags along the way. So, so if you do have a lead sequence in Mailchimp, I would use those segments, make sure that you're only sending it to leads. And then you can have those follow-ups go out. Then once it goes to a proposal, that'll automatically take them out of that tag. Similarly, if somebody has, maybe you've got somebody that's a lead and they come back and they booked you last year, but then they come in and they're another proposal, we'll have both of those tags on there as well. So you can, kind of have those segments that pick that up as well.
So once you're syncing this will just automatically do it for every contact or everything that comes in. It'll just automatically push everybody that all new leads, all new everything's.
Yeah.
And if its status has changed, does it do anything? Does it resend it under a different status, or how does that work?
So exactly. So once the status changes, we'll update the tag. It'll be the same record in Mailchimp, but it'll have a new tag. So the lead tag will come off, and then the proposal tag will be added on. Yeah.
And show them the debugging again, because I think that's
So it's going to change it in Mailchimp for us. We don't have to go in and manually flip it from a lead to a booked or to a.
See those tags right there? It'll like kind of recalculate the tags and reapply them, remove and add tags.
Nonsense on here, but yeah, it's in general, it's gonna have just the this one is only a lead because, and we'll put it, we call them CC lead, CC proposal, just to kind of,
Their
namespace
namespace,
it a little
yeah.
bit. Yeah. If for some reason we're not able to, this fake email, we'll also show there that, hey, it's got a fake, or that, that we can't sync for whatever reason. And once this proposal gets turned to a booking, then that proposal tag will go away and a booking tag will get added on. But it is possible that they'll have multiple tags, in certain cases as well. So
But everything would have to be in the same list, and you could never move it out of that list, or else Check Cherry wouldn't be able to update it or even find it.
Well, Gerald, how it works basically is in the Mailchimp side is you add an email address, and then you can kind of segment the email address to a list. Does that make sense? So yes, it's all going to be in one list, but you could have one segment or list, if you want to say, for one brand and another segment for another. You could have a segment that says, hey, if the tag is lead and this brand, do these things. These are different groups. I think it'll work for you.
mentioned MailChimp is basically like a dynamic list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we think it's going to be interesting to see. And there was another service request in the Facebook group. I forget, was it Flodesk or something?
Yeah, they have a big special on until the end of November. Unlimited contacts or something.
We use Flodesk.
Okay.
Yeah, Flodesk. And I don't know, what I don't know is if they offer kind of like the website builder and do they offer the kind of the flows or,
Like
workflows?
they do like templates. Like we go in and just quick put together like a little email blast. We don't do it very often, but currently right now I'm actually synchronizing using Zapier to put stuff into Flodesk. But yeah.
Yeah. And I know they're priced much more affordably. I think they're like $35 unlimited contacts, which I don't know.
Yeah, it's
somewhat concerning for me, quite frankly. But I mean, in terms of, but maybe the deliverability is okay. I don't know.
Yeah, and of course it is possible. As Mitch mentioned, you can use Zapier to probably sync with about anything, including Mailchimp. If our Mailchimp flow doesn't work for what you need to do, you can use Zapier. It's going to be more setup, more configuration, but yeah, that is of course still an option as well.
Yeah, and expect more of these. I mean, we don't want to be in the business of mass email, I think is what you can take from this. It's just not something, I mean, the email deliverability on CheckCherry is so important, to get all those messages delivered, that this isn't something I think we're ready to take on anytime soon.
Yeah.
Speaking of
screens real quick.
What's next?
So I guess we've got.
Well, here's Rick. Any future integration with other credit card gateways in plan, and/or capability to charge different fee amount based on payment type. So no, I don't think that'll be something that happens anytime soon. Basically, you'll be at 2.9% plus 30 cents for all cards. If you're sensitive to payment processing fees, I would recommend increasing prices and just making it easy for people to pay, but you can also pass along processing fees. But I don't think we'll be adding any gateways, anytime soon.
How do you pass along the processing fees?
There's a feature. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, under manage payment settings, over on the right here, we've got, you'll see whatever, by default credit card, but you can also add bank account and even Klarna. And what you can do is come in and say, there's a setting. Do you want to pass along payment processing fees? Yes or no? And then you can put that rate. To break even, you would put in 2.9 plus 30 cents, but you could, if you want to make it easy, just say 3% or things like that. You can do that as well. So, and then the other thing you can do, bank account is a little bit cheaper, about half, 1.5%. So sometimes people will put, you can put in a price for bank account and things like that. And so it's a great way to kind of let the customer choose, like, do I want the, convenience and safety of a credit card? Do I want, I'm fine, with kind of the little bit more of a hassle of putting in a bank account or, going through a Zelle or something like that. And so, so it's kind of a good middle ground, kind of let the customer choose a little bit. And so,
Um,
so yeah, maybe we'll go on to our next feature, which is this will be a quick one, I think, but you've probably noticed in your inbox the last few days, we've updated the Check Cherry Daily mailer. So keep an eye out for that. And basically, what we want to do there is just kind of, we've always sent these messages awaiting review. It was kind of ugly, kind of hard to read, and you're going to find hopefully that message be a lot more useful now. So we'll continue to have the messages awaiting review. We're also going to have any proposals awaiting review, any time off requests from staff that you have that you need to act on, any staff booking requests, so if you've got bookings that are, your staff are awaiting approval, and couple other things that are going to show up now. If anybody unsubscribes or, a message is undeliverable, say you have a bad email address, there's a typo or something, those are going to show up now. If somebody hits the spam on one of your messages, things like that, you're going to see those in that daily message as
and
well.
I think it's, we that's good information if you see somebody's unsubscribing and stuff. Take a look at it. We had a customer, I forget who it was, but they were basically sending an email a day, for whatever 6 days after a lead was created, and getting people to unsubscribe. And I guess he didn't realize he was doing that, and he's tailing it back. But yeah, so I think it should maybe add some insights, into what
Yeah.
messages people are like, and what's too much, basically.
And by default, that goes out to admins. So, if you go into an admin account, um, there is an option to turn that off if you want to turn off what we call the daily digests. That's like I said, that's been there for a while, but previously it just included those
Does that turn that off for all admins or just
just for
me?
that admin. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, person by person. So, if you've got a couple of people on there that you do want to get that or that you don't, you can toggle that for each account. So,
All right. Cool. Good.
and probably nothing, this isn't going to go out to regular staff, only to admins. So, there's probably nothing, overly sensitive in there. We're not going to send out like payouts or anything like that in there, but it will have, contact information or things like that. So yeah, so it's helpful. And then for a regular staff, we might have something similar for staff, but that's going to have to be kind of a different thing. We don't want to
Hmm.
stuff that they shouldn't have access to. So yeah, you'll hopefully already seen that in your inbox or will soon. Uh, so I think that's all we
And
had for that one.
and I guess we got our auto open likely.
Yeah, I don't know. So
We have.
yeah, so I don't know if I've got an example here, but
You might be able to go to the email, the email history report, but
so when emails go out and check Cherry, we tag you say you send a message to 3 people, you'll see these labels next to it, and it's kind of a not infrequent question that people ask what those labels mean. And so I guess just to kind of walk through the status, when a message is first sent, it's going to just show sent. Almost immediately, it'll usually change to delivered, and that just means that we got an acknowledgement that it made it to the customer's email server. What the customer's email server does after that, we don't have a ton of insight. We don't know if they put it in the inbox or a spam folder or anything else. Obviously they don't want spammers or anybody else to know that. So we can tell that it made it to a recipient. We don't know, what inbox after that. Conversely, if it didn't make it, say you've got a typo in that email address, then you're going to see something that says like bounced or, undeliverable. So generally that just means that, there was a typo is 99% of the time what happened there. The next status you'll see, ideally you're going to see this open status. And the way open tracking works is it's a little bit of a trick. Like basically what it is there's a little tracking a little tracking image in the email. And how Check Cherry or pretty much any platform, any CRM or other platform works is we'll listen for somebody to load that image. And then when somebody loads that image, we know that the email has been, opened, so to speak. From there, maybe they'll click something in the email. They'll click a link or click something in the email. And what happens then is CheckCherry will track that they clicked it, because what we've got, instead of sending it directly to that proposal, we've got a little bit of tracking that will track it and then forward it along to the proposal. So one thing we found in the last couple of years, it's increasingly, privacy has become increasingly important. And as a result, a lot of different email platforms, tools and things like that have kind of tried to avoid allowing you to do the open tracking. And there's a few ways they can do it. One strategy is to prevent any images from loading at all. So, sometimes you'll see that sort of thing. And when that happens, that means that they may be able to read the text, but, they didn't see any of the images in your message. Another thing that we're seeing in the last, I think, what was that, 6 months ago, a year ago, what really kind of changed things is that Apple added a feature where basically they automatically open every message. They load all of the images for everything that every email. And what that meant is that it kind of messes with the open tracking. So one of the changes we're making now is we're adding a new status called auto open likely, to just kind of give a little bit of insight into that. Previously, what would happen is, you'd send a message and then 10 seconds later it shows as opened. And, sometimes that's true. The client really is sitting there and they get your message. But sometimes, it's that one of these automated systems opened it. And so this is something that, we can't detect 100%, but we can, I think, do a pretty good job of detecting that it was auto opened and hopefully flag it. So, unfortunately, it doesn't mean you necessarily, know for sure if after that, if we're able to track that they open it, for real on a different device or something like that later, we'll change the status to opened. But if you see that auto open likely, that's basically what's happening there. And so this is kind of, you'll kind of see similar things. I think Mailchimp calls it like Apple MPP or something like that. But it's not just Apple. There are a number of systems that do it, and it's something you're going to kind of see increasingly, across all platforms with open tracking, lately. So
Until everybody does it and open tracking becomes
right,
worthless, which is basically Apple's goal, which is fine. I mean, it's their prerogative. The users, they got to protect their privacy. But for us, yeah, we say likely because we've got some tricks to identify it, but it's never a 100% sure. And a lot of times people would think it was kind of, a bug with CheckCherry or something like that. So that's also something we want to be clear, like, hey, this is what's happening. It's just, maybe they'll ask that question, if they see it, something like that. But yeah. I've got another comment here, or a question from Gerald. Any progress on having the appointment feature check a Google Calendar for availability? So book an appointment when we have something else booked on my calendar. It's the one thing that stops me from using the CheckCherry feature. And so, no, we don't have an update. It makes sense. Totally get it. Where we have basically a user level calendar sync, I guess, with Google, and probably others, I think, is what will be required.
Yeah, we need to change our sync in a way that makes it user level instead of business wide.
The Google Calendar syncing stuff's been a challenge in some ways, but I mean it works well. But there's been a few things, and it makes a lot of sense. And Gerald, we totally understand why that's an important feature.
Yeah.
It'll
I
also
use it actually to close my office. Like I can just go to Google Calendar, keep office closed, and then it stops all the other programs I have that can book appointments, including Zoom and all that. So that would be
makes sense.
Yeah. Other than that, I love the feature until I found out that it can't actually check my calendar. I can't use it because I can't let something double book me on something. So
there's a gotcha.
Yeah. So
Well, we don't have much time, Matt. I thought we were going to go over some tips and tricks on the automated. I thought we were going to be light on time, so we kind of had to backfill with, tips and tricks for messages, but we've only got 8 minutes or so left. Does anybody have further questions or want to open up and share thoughts or anything in the closing minutes?
Real quick, I got a question. Once in a while in texting, I'll get a message that their status will be something like undelivered or undeliverable or something like that. And I think it's just undelivered, or undeliverable, I believe it was. And then I can turn around and I can send it again and it goes through.
Is that a text message?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I think maybe just chat with us next time it happens. Have you done that?
No, I
Just,
haven't. It's just,
just chat so we can look at a specific, because a lot of times what happens is, so I haven't seen that. I don't know if Matt has a
The
different.
other thing too, we may be able to tell, you may want to look in your, Twilio does have like a log of all the errors. Certain errors we're able to get, certain ones we're not. So you may want to check if there's any errors there.
yeah, I did check there, but they're not even hitting it.
Oh,
They're not even getting an error there.
Next time it happens, just bring it up. Let's look at a specific example because we can dig
Okay.
into it and debug. Yeah, but thanks for bringing that up.
Yep.
And then we got another comment. Can we suggest a tip percentage instead of an amount? And so I suppose that's just, maybe we have a helper or something, that they can click a button or something to fill in a tip amount.
Oh,
makes
like
sense.
10, 20.
Yeah, because right now it's just
That
tip
makes
amount. There's a dollar. I mean, I even think maybe just click a percentage and it autofills little
Yeah.
boxes.
Yep.
What are the common tip percentages you would expect? Like 10, 50, is it like the restaurants, 10, 15, 20?
100% sounds good.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Definitely 20%.
20%. Yeah. And maybe that's even like a setting or something. I could see,
Just use the same thing that Starbucks does in the drive-through.
it's funny.
20, 50, 100.
Believe it or not, some people turn the tip feature off. It's interesting. Yeah, $20 for a $1,500 contract is low. I mean, I get that. I don't know that,
Yeah, we probably have to make it configurable because I think different people would want different things.
yeah.
But yeah, it makes sense.
Even text with like, a couple of options, but yeah,
Yeah.
I get
You
it. Like
can
tips.
edit, there is a place you can edit the message, the tip message. So that is one, you put in text, 20% conventional or something, but I get it, like having some like predefined.
Most customers tip us 50% and they get goodwill and luck for the next year. Yeah, good suggestions. Well, I thought this went well. Theo, you got anything?
Yeah, I got a quick question. Do you guys provide any support with helping with getting text messages set up? I'm like struggling with that hardcore.
No, if you chat with us, we can look at it.
Okay.
But
problem getting approved by Twilio.
I think it's the A2P, honestly. It's been declined twice.
And what did they? I mean, I think just chat with us, share us a screenshot. I mean, we've got many customers that have gone through it. It is. I hope it's gotten better. It was horrible when it first went on. But and then you can also post in the Facebook group. I know there was somebody that was helping people. I forget who that was. But you might post in hey, can somebody help me? And they were doing a service for helping people get set up. Yeah.
Okay, I may have to do that. I don't even know if I'm in the Facebook group, so I'll have to look at that.
Yeah. Check your user group. But chat with us too. I mean, you can share the message. I mean, and we can kind of point you in the right direction.
Okay.
Yeah,
but we've got all the features.
Common things I see. I mean, they do verify your business information. So if there's something, an email address that isn't valid, a website that isn't there, they really do verify it. And I think Twilio doesn't do a very good job of their UI, but actually what they're doing is they're collecting the info and passing it along to either the phone companies or the phone companies have a service. I'm not sure, but basically it goes directly to the phone companies to get approved. So even if we had kind of a built-in thing, we'd still kind of have to go through that same process. But the most common things I see are like if any of the business information doesn't match, they'll reject it. So be real careful on, that email addresses, EINs, all that stuff is correct. And then the other thing is they really want to see that consent message. They want to see that, that checkbox saying that I have agreed to receive text messages. And so if you've got a form on your website, even if you're not planning to text people, if it doesn't have that checkbox, they'll reject it. So
And
yeah, so take a look at your website. Even take the form off if you need to get through, or and just point them to the check cherry one or something. But yeah, those are the things I see that
it's
common.
it's all stuff related to basically, I think, laws that were implemented to help reduce spam texting is effectively what's going on here. So this is the pain point for us, all
It's
of us that
probably
send
that checkbox
text
because, like, I've got to Google my business account with reviews, EIN, all that's right. It's probably the checkbox, I think, that you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can enable that.
Yeah, or even if you've got a website, if you've got a form you're using, generally most form builders have a little like checkbox option. So give them, just kind of like Google or Chat GPT the wording, but like they want kind of specific wording too. Just,
Yeah.
whatever. I agree to whatever. Just make sure your wording's more or less in line with what they're looking
Yeah.
for.
And hey, Angel, I saw you had your hand up. You still got a question? Let's hear it.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
Unrelated to what you guys covered today, but I was trying to figure out how to do the integration with, I guess, booking the services. I do like that feature, but I haven't been able to figure out how to be able to keep them on my website. So I know there's a way you could kind of like have a banner on top so that the booking service kind of goes to Check Cherry, but it doesn't look like they're leaving your website. Is there any videos in your library that kind of shows that? Because I've seen a lot of people using Check Cherry accomplish
Yeah.
that. I just don't know how they're doing that.
So
Sorry to throw you for a loop there. It's
No,
just
no,
it's
not
up
at
to
all.
them.
So generally they're just kind of matching up the colors and the logo and all of that so that it looks pretty seamless. We do so under website integration, you'll see like at the top we've got a few like just kind of link only things, and then down below there are some website widget libraries. Sometimes I've seen people do things with the booking calendar where that's embedded directly within there. But any of it, whether it's the lead form, the booking calendar, these can all be embedded within your website, and they can include a book now link. But once they're on, as far as actually booking, where they're seeing the
That page.
packages,
Yeah,
this
that's
is
the
going to
page.
have to be on our website. And the reason we do that is, and as long as the colors and the logo match, usually it looks pretty seamless.
You can
You can
use
even skip to here. But the reason we do send them over to off of your website is basically we want to avoid the whole issues with PCI compliance, and you needing to go through that whole review process. And then we do a lot with allowing people to kind of resume booking links and things like that. Some of our integrations that we support, things like that, just make it difficult to, yeah, just kind
Yeah,
of unwieldy if it were fully embedded. That said, I would like to kind of explore some different options, but
yeah.
yeah, we'll
That's
have
the
to.
only reason I haven't integrated yet because I don't want them coming off my site. So it is doable. I mean, they could still be on this link here, but you're just creating a banner over it so that it's the same. So the only button they can't hit is your homepage. Like
you
if
can
they go ahead, I'm listening.
I'm sorry, you can look at my website. I think it goes into the check cherry for the booking piece, like pretty
Yeah.
amazingly. I've gotten quite a few number of compliments on how well it flows. It's seasidesipper.com.
Okay.
And then
Great.
under the services section, under the services tab, book and pay, and it goes right, look at that. And it
Yeah,
doesn't
but But it's coming off your homepage,
Yeah.
though.
Angel, I wouldn't worry
No.
too much about it because keep in mind they're going to a sales funnel, and they've decided they want to proceed. From what we've seen, it doesn't impact conversion rates or anything like that. I think your
I hear
business would be
you.
better off if you're.
It's just my preference.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Yeah, I totally get it. But yeah, it's not something that we support at this time. Like I said, you would have to go through a PCI compliance review and all that type of stuff. So does continue, if it is fully embedded within your website, it would raise some different barriers, which is why we haven't done it yet. Even if it's embedded within an iframe, you're still required to go through that. But yeah, all that being said, I mean, we're always, considering ways to kind of improve things and maybe we'll have some type of mode or something or other at some point.
Okay.
But yeah,
Thank
at
you.
this time it does have to go offsite. So
Yeah,
Appreciate
cool.
it.
Gerald comments here, your whole website's job is to get them into the booking system. Yeah. Yeah, I think, like I say, if you can push in the sales funnel, you'll be winning because you'll get leads basically that are qualified. But well, we're past time. A few
awesome.
minutes. Yeah, and Rick says you can still tie the Google Analytics as well. Yeah, we have the Google Analytics integration. So we've got a lot of, measures in place that should help. Matt, it went great. Thanks for driving again, as usual. I'm curious to see the feedback and how, when it hits the production servers, what happens. But it looks, I think those changes will help people. And it lays the groundwork, as you were mentioning, for some other features. And
Maybe we'll have to do another webinar with some more general tips and
yeah, and we didn't get to any tips on messaging and
Yeah.
stuff, and that would have been cool. But hey, it's
Awesome.
how it goes.
Thank you,
I
everybody.
totally forgot about the new timing. I came a little bit late.
Oh, he
That's why I
came
didn't say
now. Hey,
anything.
I'll hang out with you for an hour. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, my bad. I totally forgot about the new time. Sorry about that.
It's okay, man. Well, we missed you. I thought about you. I was like, oh, maybe he's, maybe he's at a gig. You never know.
Everybody,
Yeah.
yes,
Well,
happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the US as well. So
yep. Thanks for coming, guys. We appreciate you. Have a great night. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank
And we'll
you.
see you. Yep, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Okay.
Good
Bye,
night.
guys.